May I follow, sir? I'm standing in for the RSM this morning for CO's orders.
Of course, Staff.
Cole Jones, take over the squad.
Morning, Colonel.
How long have these men been on parade?
I've been here since 7.
Dismiss them.
Sir?
Dismiss them.
Corporal Jones? Sir! They can fall out now. Sir!
This is a light infantry battalion of professional soldiers, not a bunch of delinquents in a military prison. And you, Major Gardner, are persistently ignoring my instructions that these men are to be treated as adult, responsible human beings.
Have you got a right bollocking?
I employ 90 men in my factory, Mr. Main. If the council get away with this compulsory purchase and I have to pay fancy rates to the new trading estate, I could go out of business.
You see, Mr. Moss, tomorrow's hearing is a public inquiry ordered by the Minister of the Environment. Until all the evidence has been heard, for the council and on your side, and the Minister has read his inspector's report, nothing can possibly happen to your factory.
That's like telling a condemned man he's got nothing to worry about until he faces the firing squad.
You haven't lost yet. There's nothing more we can do, so don't lose any sleep over it. I'll see you in the morning. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Who's next?
Redress of grievance, Colonel. A complaint against a punishment awarded by one of the company commanders.
Which company commander? Major Gardner?
Yes, sir.
Pike, is it?
Yes, sir.
Send him in.
Staff.
At the front. Quick. March. Mark time. Halt. Private Pike, sir.
Stand easy, Pike. Tell me what this is all about.
Oh, it's another unreasonable punishment,
One
sir.
case at a time, please, Pike.
Yes, sir. Well, it's about me hair, sir. When you gave us that talk the other day, you said we was to have more freedom to express ourselves. You said that the short back and sides weren't needed no longer. Well, sir, Major Gardner had me up on a charge yesterday and fined me 10 quid for having long hair.
Sir.
Sir.
You know anything about this, Staff?
Yes, sir. Last Friday, Major Gardner told Private Pike to get his hair cut. He told him again on Monday. I saw him on Wednesday. He still hadn't had it cut, so I charged him with non-compliance with an order, sir.
Is that true?
Well, yes, sir. Well, we've not been having a lot of drill lately, sir. By the time that's over, the barber's shut, hasn't he?
You disobeyed an order, Pike. We can't have that. Punishment stands.
March out, staff.
Private Pike. Shun. About. Turn. Quick march.
That's the lot, Colonel.
Yes, it is. I'm afraid I shall have to take formal action against Major Gardner.
As the officer responsible for discipline, I tend to agree with you, Colonel.
But as a junior officer, it's not your job to say so. Bring me the Manual of Military Law, and I want a phone number, the Directorate of Army Legal Services, Colonel Everett.
Sir?
There could be no justification for a compulsory purchase order on my client's factory. If the council really believe this scheme is in the public interest, it should conduct its affairs according to normal commercial disciplines. The council admits that it does not have the money to carry this scheme through for several years. In my submission, the proposal is premature, ill-conceived, and reckless. Actions of this kind produce a blight on a business and cast a worrying shadow over the future of its employees.
I realize you have to protect your client's interests, but I cannot, as the duly instructed solicitor representing this council, allow defamatory and irrelevant comments to be made against
My remarks were indeed defamatory, Mr. Gardner, but justified and
your remarks.
I suggest that you cool your tempers so that Mr. Main be allowed to conclude his remarks.
The charges I've read cover specific instances of ill treatment, but I'm preferring a final and general charge against you, Major Gardner. Neglect to the prejudice of good order and military discipline, contrary to Section 69 of the Army Act 1955, in that you, at Otley Barracks between the 14th of January and 10th of February 1972, neglected to ensure that the instructions of your commanding officer, which were known to you, were carried out. That is to say, that less harsh methods of discipline should be employed in the training program of your unit, the West Riding Light Infantry. Do you understand the charges?
Yes, Colonel.
You don't have to say anything now. Leave us a moment, please, Roy. Relax, Michael. I've done this deliberately to try to bring you to your senses. You're a good officer, but your methods are unacceptable to the Army.
Colonel, you've been with this regiment 3 months. Your predecessor as commanding officer commended me for my methods in my confidential report.
I now command this battalion. The world is changing. So is the Army. I had 3 years at the Ministry of Defense dealing with this problem. Youth today will not join an army where they're abused, humiliated, constantly put down.
And when a soldier walks down a street in Ulster, he's dead if he can't obey orders.
No, you're wrong. In that sort of war, orders are too far away. It's every man for himself. Well briefed, but independent, thinking, self-reliant.
The Americans tried that in Vietnam, and the lack of discipline that followed led to fragging. They killed anyone giving unpopular orders with a fragmentation bomb.
Now, there's no connection between that sort of situation and what we are doing.
Colonel, it's my job to train soldiers. I don't know what sort of war they'll be fighting next. I only know that their best chance of survival is to be well-trained and well-disciplined.
Discipline begins at the top. If you're obeying my orders, I should be glad to continue this argument, but you're not. I'll give you a final chance. Cooperate, and I'll scrub this. A clean sheet. We start again.
Colonel, I'm a soldier, not a psychiatrist. I don't think I know how to do what you want.
Captain Stanley. Major Gardner, as I'm the principal witness against you, I cannot continue as your commanding officer. I have therefore arranged that you be attached to the Rutlands while these charges are investigated. Fall out.
Mr. Moss, I take it you've heard of the new trading estate on the edge of town. Plenty of ground there for new, modern factories. And we have a... Excuse me, son. And yes, we have 8.5% unemployment in the area, so you can get back to the office.
That's the third time you've been interrupted today, Mr. Gardner. I would have thought with a matter of this importance you could arrange to postpone some of your other business.
I'm very sorry, sir.
It's 4:30. I shall adjourn now until tomorrow at 9. And I hope we can then proceed uninterrupted.
That's prompt service from Army Legal.
I've been prosecuting across the road. Fraud.
Well?
Yes, I think I can do something about this.
I want maximum effort. General court-martial, all the trimmings.
Your personal feud?
No. The future of an army.
That's a bit high-flown. What does it mean?
We can't have petty tyrants in today's army. They're out of date.
They won't chuck him out for something like this.
What will they do?
Nothing if he's acquitted.
If he's found guilty.
A conviction on any one of these and he's finished in the army.
Oh, that's what must happen.
All right. Why?
As an example, too many people think the way he does.
And?
Yes, you're right. There is a personal element. I've just been promoted lieutenant colonel. With any luck, I'll make general. If Michael Gardner had his way, at best I should have failed to carry out my orders. At worst, this battalion would become the biggest shambles in the British Army. Either way, I'd be finished.
Well, don't worry, Mr. Moss. Your evidence is concluded. The rest is up to us.
Right.
Hello, Sefton. Office falling apart?
Who'd have children?
Oh, your son is hardly a child. He must be...
33. He was born about the time Sefton and I first became enemies.
Enemies?
Only instinctively. What was the Righteous Indignation Act for today?
He stung the council for an enormous fee to fight a dead loser and felt he had to put on a show. Right, Sefton?
Is that how I look to you, David?
Yeah.
He looked to me like a man who used to be able to take a joke.
How does a man look to his own son?
Ask him.
I don't know how.
I remember, Michael. His article to you. Should have been running the place by now.
Yes, he should. Chucked it all up to go and play soldiers. 3 years in the ranks. What for? To learn the job before becoming an officer. Very successful. Major at 32. Another Montgomery, they said. Now, here he is. A year later, court-martialed.
What for?
For being a bloody fool. Teaching his CO to suck gobstoppers.
Will you defend him yourself or get a leader?
Oh, he wouldn't allow me anywhere near it.
I can understand you coming to that decision. But it seems a little ungracious coming from Michael.
He wants you.
I hardly know him.
Nevertheless, he prefers the reputation of a stranger to his own father. How do you think a thing like that came about? You're not much older than Mike.
My father's a solicitor, Sefton. I have the advantage. He isn't very successful.
Will you defend him?
I'm not an advocate.
You gave a passable imitation of it today.
I'd get a good counsel.
No pretty wigs, he said. Just David Main. Oh, well. Personally, it makes no odds. If you'd rather not.
I'll defend your son, Sefton, if that's what he wants. And you want. And if I like the look of his case. Get him to give me a ring.
Do you think it's wise?
No.
Then why take it?
It's work. I'll charge Sefton a fat fee.
I don't believe it.
I will.
Those aren't your motives. You've fallen for the sentimental story of an old man without considering the consequences.
For God's sake, Henry, we are solicitors in business to make a profit. Now, do we have to have this inquest on every case we take?
I don't think you quite realize what you've taken on. No. Sefton Gardner has a big practice. He knows a lot of people. If you lose this, you know what everyone, including our own clients, will say.
Ah, but what if I win?
Can you guarantee it? Because that's the only condition on which I'd take it on.
I don't know till I've had a look, do I?
What about tomorrow?
An inquiry?
Yes.
Could you do it?
What's left to do?
Clear up any points arising out of Sefton's cross-examination in the closing speech.
I'm not an advocate either, David.
I'll teach you. First, you must call the inspector, sir.
You weren't supposed to take that literally. In my considered opinion, it is monstrous for the council to seek this compulsory purchase order. There are alternative routes to the new bypass. To the west, there's barren land. Less direct, it is true. But there are no buildings, no jobs to be sacrificed.
I joined the army because I believe soldiers are necessary and important. I happen to be good at leading men.
You're charged with disobedience.
However much you enjoy your work, there are bound to be things you don't like. Things you hope you'll never have to do. Killing, for instance. In this case, I knew what I was doing. I knew that if this went against me, I was a dead man. The WRLI is a crack regiment. Fashionable, popular. The uniform was made for a swagger. We don't have any trouble getting recruits, unlike some parts of the army. And you know why? Because we're tough. Our chaps boast of it, and I encourage them. I want what they want, a challenge and the satisfaction of overcoming it. I've been 12 years as an officer with this regiment, 3 years in the ranks. I'm not alone. Someone had to make a stand.
If you've been running that sort of one-man crusade against your CO, you deserve to be court-martialed.
Mr. Main, I have a boringly old-fashioned sense of duty to those I'm responsible for.
You don't need me. You need George Bernard Shaw. He's the only man I know who's any good at defending saints.
Oh, hello, you must be Maine. My name's Everett. Would you like to come in now? I'm ready to start the summary. Major Gardner ordered us to be in our barrack room by 2300 hours on the 5th of February and told Staff Sergeant Timpson to order a valley at 0600 the next day, yes?
Yeah, and then at 7 o'clock, 0700, we had drill for an hour and a half and missed breakfast.
Is that your evidence, Colonel?
Yes, sir.
Do you wish to cross-examine?
No, sir.
Accused...
I'm saving him for the trial.
We don't know if there'll be one yet.
He's too good. If I'm to stand any chance of beating him, I've got to stop him finding out what he's in for until it's too late.
That is the end of the prosecution witnesses. Now, do you wish to say anything? You're not obliged to do so, but if you wish, you may give evidence on oath, or you may make a statement without being sworn. Any evidence you give or statement you make will be taken down in writing and may be given in evidence.
On my solicitor's advice, I make no statement and call no witnesses at this stage.
certified that Rule of Procedure 9 has been complied with. This summary of evidence was taken by me at Otley Barracks in the presence and hearing of the accused on Friday, 18th of February, 1972. Charles Everett, Colonel. Thank you, gentlemen. I wonder if I could have a word with you, Mr. Maine.
Alone?
Shall I wait?
Yes, please. We've got a lot to do.
I don't think so.
You don't think what?
That you'll have a lot of work to do.
Oh, really? Well, are you abandoning the idea of a court-martial?
Yes.
I think that's very wise. Do you mind if I ask why?
Well, I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think it's necessary. And I don't think it's in the best interests of the army for this sort of linen to be washed in public.
Michael Gardner will be very relieved.
Well, the decision's not up to me. I merely advise.
And how often is your advice rejected?
There's always a first time.
When will we know for certain?
When your chap is called before the general.
For what purpose?
Well, I'm advising against a court-martial because these charges can be dealt with quite adequately by the general. A reprimand, lose a bit of seniority, and it's all over quietly. Domestically, you might say.
And bang goes my client's career.
Not necessarily.
A general's reprimand on the record is a guarantee you'll go no further in the army.
Possibly.
And no more promotion.
He shouldn't have disobeyed orders.
He's finished.
A major's pension is not to be sneezed at.
Euthanasia under the Old Pals Act.
Look, the general has power under the Army Act to deal with this case. In my opinion, he should exercise that power.
And to hell with the principle of natural justice. That it should not only be done, but be seen to be done.
Be reasonable, Maine. A reprimand from the general will look a damn sight better on the record than the sentence of a court-martial.
He's not convicted yet.
You're a realist. Do you give your client more than one chance in 1,000 of getting off?
Yes, I do. You haven't a hope of conviction on ill-treating soldiers, and Section 69 will depend entirely upon the constitution of the court. And my bet is there are more officers on Gardner's side than Brandt's.
You do know that a court-martial can give up to 2 years' imprisonment on each charge. That's 8 years.
Yes.
And you prefer to risk that to a ticking off by the general?
Yes.
Stand them easy, Staff.
Stand at. East! Stand easy.
I must compliment you. You must have worked very hard to achieve this model of neatness and high polish. I shall arrange an appropriate reward. A long weekend, perhaps. And I can promise you that so long as I command this battalion, you will never have to do this again.
Room, shut!
Yeah. Well, that's bloody marvellous, isn't it, eh? We could have said get stuff there, wouldn't have done nothing about it. Yeah, they don't know what they're at.
Who ordered that charade?
Major Gardner, sir.
When?
Some time ago.
Didn't you query it?
I know he said we had to get rid of the bull.
Well, why then?
There's always been a march inspection as long as I can remember.
Yes, but what's the point of it?
Hey, smartens the men up. It's good for morale, good for discipline.
An army that works on fear and threats is no better than slavery. If this battalion goes abroad, I can see the point of laying one's kit on the bed. I do it myself to make sure that everything's there. What I've just seen is a barbarous punishment for men whose only crime is to have joined the bloody army. Fall out, Staff Sergeant. And Staff, your supervision of that parade is worthy of the highest praise.
Sir.
Carry on.
President, gentlemen, I'm now able to certify that the preliminary formalities laid down in Rule of Procedure number 26 have been complied with. Mr. President, will you now open the court by inviting the prosecution, the defense, the witnesses, and members of the public to take their places, and will you please announce in a clear voice that the court is open?
Before I do, just one point of law. I am president of this court-martial, and as such, I control it.
Yes.
Some of my brother officers stand in awe of the wig and gown. I do not. Most of the time, it's a bloody nuisance to professional soldiers.
I hope you don't intend to make those views public.
Your job as judge advocate is that of advisor?
Yes.
Good. I like having areas of responsibility clearly defined. Court orderly?
What do you want?
I'm not trying to be funny, Staff, but what do you think of my hair?
If there's anything wrong with your hair, Pike, on top of your head or anywhere else, I will soon tell you. Carry on, Pike.
And that I will duly administer justice according to the Army Act 1955.
That I will duly administer justice according to the Army Act 1955.
Without partiality, favour, or affection.
Without partiality, favour, or affection.
And I do further swear that I will not on any account, at any time whatsoever.
And I do further swear that I will not on any account, at any time whatsoever.
Disclose or discover the vote or opinion of the President or any member of this court-martial.
Disclose or discover the vote or opinion.
When you halt, let's see you cut the straight arm at the side. Ahmed, stop talking.
Unless thereunto required in the due course of law. Court orderly. Get someone to deal with that parade instantly.
Halt, all move. To the right.
Can you...
Right. Move to the right, entry. Right. Tap. Coral Jones.
There is a court-martial proceeding in this building, and you are interfering with the cause of justice. You will conduct that parade at a whisper. Do I make myself plain? Stop!
Move to the left, entry. Upward.
There are 4 charges against the accused. 3 of ill-treating persons of inferior rank, and 1 of neglect to the prejudice. So far as ill-treatment is concerned, you have to be satisfied, first, that the victims are, in fact, persons of inferior rank. I don't think that will create any problems for you. Next, that the matters complained of amounted to ill-treatment. I shall call witnesses to show that asking soldiers to be in barracks at any particular time is unheard of in the army today, save as exceptional punishment and during maneuvers or on active service. Likewise with Reveille. I won't pretend it went out with the Duke of Wellington, but it might just as well have done. You will hear that the army is not concerned with what a man does in his spare time, or even where he sleeps, so long as he reports for work at the appointed time, usually 8:30 or 9 in the morning. But these are matters within your own general knowledge.
Good morning, Mr. Gardner.
Morning, Sergeant.
You a witness here today, sir?
No, just as an interested spectator.
You can go on in then if you want to.
Oh, thank you. Are you a witness?
Afraid so. And on the wrong bloody side, too.
You're next, Staff.
How many years' service have you got?
I've had 12, sir, including boy service.
And how old are you?
28, sir.
Would it be fair to describe you as typical of soldiers joining the army today?
I don't know, sir. When you're a staff sergeant, it's a bit difficult to know what the men really think.
But you're an experienced NCO. Would you consider being in barracks at 11 p.m., Reveille at 6 a.m., and 90 minutes drill ill treatment?
That is not a proper question of this witness. It is for the court to decide.
Would you complain of it as ill treatment if it happened to you?
That question is hypothetical.
That's no grounds for objecting to it, sir. Would you?
No, sir. I handled that when I joined. I grumbled a bit, but all soldiers love a good grumble.
You understand the meaning of the phrase, neglect to the prejudice of good order and military discipline?
Yes, sir.
As a result of the way Major Gardner carried out his duties, was there any lack of order among the men?
No, sir.
Was there any lack of discipline?
Quite the opposite, sir. A Company is the best disciplined of all.
Can you think of any way in which Major Gardner could have conducted himself differently?
Well, you could have let him get away with things, if that's what you mean.
And what would have been the result of that, in your opinion?
Well, I'd have had trouble keeping order, and if it had gone on long enough, discipline would go by the board altogether.
Thank you, Staff Sergeant.
No re-examination, sir. If you have no questions, might I ask that Private Pike and Staff Sergeant Timpson be released? They have other duties.
Yes, sir. And the court will now adjourn for lunch until 2:15.
If what Michael says is right, you can crack this case wide open, David.
How?
Call a few of the officers, another NCO too, some of the men.
What do you want them to say?
Tell them that Michael is right. That's the way they want it.
I thought of that. There's only one trouble. If I do, I don't think it will be neglect to the prejudice Michael will be facing. He'll be charged with leading a mutiny. Ah, thank you.
You really think so?
No, but that's the thought that will be running through the mind of every officer on that court. And that will guarantee not only his conviction, but possibly a prison term.
I don't believe it.
You persuade that court Michael led a mutiny, and there's one bloke sitting there who put him in front of the firing squad.
No, I don't agree. This is the army on trial, and everybody knows it. To look at this in simple terms of disobedience is to miss the whole point.
I wouldn't like to risk it.
Tell him, Michael, this is the knockout competition. Brandt versus Gardner. We've got to hit him so hard he'll never get up again.
That's why I didn't want you to defend me, Dad. You've always seen me as some sort of hero. Point me at a problem and I'll charge, sword waving. Well, I'm not like that at all. I'm very ordinary. There are things I want to do and things that frighten me. Right now I'm frightened a bit. I wouldn't mind betting Brandt is too. If my career's on the block, then so is his. The chap who fails to put down a mutiny is in almost as much trouble as the one who starts it.
Yes, I agree. You're right about one thing, Sefton. If I can't break the colonel, Michael will be convicted.
Now, understand, I bear no personal grudge against the CO. He's a fair man. He even offered to drop the lot in return for cooperation, I think he said.
When?
Just after he charged me.
What did he say?
It was the olive branch treatment, agree to cooperate, and I dropped the charges.
And we've got him.
How?
Condemnation.
Technical objection to the trial?
If the CO, with full knowledge of all the facts, offers to withdraw charges, they cannot later be proceeded with.
Yes, but Michael didn't cooperate.
That doesn't matter. The offer's enough.
I wouldn't do it, David. It's a tricky bit of court sleight of hand, and a bunch of soldiers like that lot will never wear it.
I have no choice.
It'll do you no good. Tell him not to do it, Michael.
I was articled to you for 2 years. If there's one thing I learned, it was the only time to stop taking advice is when you're ready to sack the advisor. I'm not getting rid of David.
Now pay attention. You're about to use a Sterling submachine gun. This is not a toy like you see in the cinema. This is a deadly weapon capable of killing. It can be used single shot, one bullet at a time, or automatic. In which case, by keeping a sustained pressure on the trigger, you could kill 20 people with one burst. The name of this weapon is death. And unless it's used with extreme care and caution, you could wind up killing one of your mates. Or even yourself.
What you wish to do is to make a plea in bar of trial. And the rules of procedure lay down quite clearly that that plea must be made before the accused pleads to charges.
I had no idea until the lunch adjournment, sir, that anything had transpired which could give rise to such a plea.
In other words, you hadn't taken adequate instructions from your client.
The point did not arise, sir. In any event, Rule of Procedure 106 gives the court power to hear the plea even at this stage if it feels the ends of justice will be served by so doing.
Let him say his piece. We'll only have a load of questions from the General if we don't.
The court will hear the plea.
I'm now going to issue live ammunition. You will obey my orders from now on, immediately and without question. There's no point in my saying I'm not threatening you, because I am. If you don't do exactly as I say, some of you might not be going home to tea tonight. Now.
The principle of condonation was established by the Duke of Wellington at the Battle of Waterloo. He said that if a soldier showed cowardice in the face of the enemy and ran, but didn't run when given a second chance, he should be treated as if the first incident had never happened. No charges. Condonation is defined in Section 134 of the Army Act as follows.
True. Yeah.
An offence shall be deemed to have been condoned by the commanding officer if, and only if, that officer has, with knowledge of all relevant circumstances, informed him that he will not be charged therewith. I shall call Major Gardner to say that Colonel Brant did just that.
We had a phrase for
I
this
admit
sort of
that the
thing
Colonel
when I was a
acted
young
in good
officer.
faith and for the best possible motive.
It's still the law.
But that does not alter the law.
Check that your safety catches are in the on position.
These are military matters, not legal niceties. The court accepts what Colonel Everett has said for the prosecution, that as Colonel Brant was a witness, he could no longer be the accused commanding officer. The plea is rejected. The court will now adjourn for 10 minutes.
You know it all, you young chaps. What I can't understand is why you didn't just do what the Colonel said. What possible harm could come out of easing off the discipline a bit?
Ready? 10 rounds application in your own time.
Okay,
Go on.
boys.
5.
I can't go onto the shop floor again and look at all those faces without telling them something.
These things take time, Mr. Moss.
3 of my key men came to see me today. Unless I can guarantee them their jobs, they're leaving Friday, and that means a lot of trouble for me.
Well, I'll do all I can to hurry things along, but the ministry works at its own speed.
After Friday, there'll be no point.
Why don't you just call it, eh?
I'll tell you, Pike. You're supposed to be intelligent, Pike, or they wouldn't have let you in the army. You're arrogant, that's good. Soldiers should be proud men. You're ignorant, that'll be cured. But you haven't learned to obey orders, Pike, and until you do, you'll never make a soldier. If I had my way, I'd have you on the square at 0600 every morning until you showed some consideration for the lives of the poor sods either side of you.
Yeah, but you can't do that, can you, Staff? Not in today's army.
Instead, I'm going to charge you. That's automatic. And you'll be court-martialed for deliberately endangering life.
That was an accident. The safety catch came off.
And when they sentence you to 56 days in what used to be known as the Glass House, I shall personally escort you to the only place in the British Army where discipline is still spelt with a capital D.
I think that's all, Colonel.
Problems?
Had a completion in York, and I haven't seen a court-martial for 30 years.
You have a distinguished record. Your promotion to Lieutenant Colonel happened at the age of 36. That must be rare.
I don't know the statistics.
Don't you? I would have thought you knew the Army list to the last decimal place concerning anybody likely to be promoted ahead of you.
Yes, I know my promotion came early.
Surely there's no need to be evasive about it.
You may call it evasive, if you like. I prefer the word modest. Still, it's a matter of taste.
Let's turn to more familiar ground. You told us what Major Gardner did wrong. Too many early parades, too much drill, too many minor offenders put up to you for discipline. What do you say you should have done instead?
Fewer parades, less drill, less punishment.
Well, superficially, that's a good answer. But really, it's just a debating point, Colonel, and you know it.
A debate is the one thing you can't have in the Army.
I agree with you, and so does my client.
Orders of a superior officer must be obeyed. And that is why Major Gardner's disobedience was so dangerous. Whatever he ordered, whether it was in accordance with my orders or not, had to be obeyed by those serving under him, so completely frustrating my purpose.
That, sir, is what I call the destructive side of the argument.
There's no argument, Mr. Maine, just orders.
I must again pay tribute to your skill in debate, Colonel, but it doesn't help us get to the truth. So far, all you have alleged against Major Gardner is a difference of opinion, not disobedience.
No.
Your orders to the officers were the discipline was to be relaxed. That is a question of degree and opinion.
Major Gardner knew what was required of him. It didn't fit his ideas on how the battalion should be run.
That, too, is a personal judgment and a matter of opinion.
True, but I'm the commanding officer, partly because my judgment was considered to be sound. My opinions on how the battalion should be run are translated into orders, which my officers are supposed to carry out.
Colonel, this is a crack regiment with a military history stretching back to 1805. Its discipline has always been a matter of pride to its officers and men, and you cannot expect anybody to turn it into a kindergarten overnight.
Well, that's an unnecessary exaggeration. There's all the difference in the world between wrapping men in cotton wool and giving them dignity. A little more spare time.
But who is to say what will achieve that dignity?
I am.
No, Colonel. Since you invited Major Gardner's court-martial, the President and members of this court will decide.
With respect, sir, I don't agree. The court is concerned to decide if Major Gardner carried out his orders, not whether those orders were right or wrong.
Well, unfortunately, sir, it isn't possible to decide one without the other. Are we to count the number of parades before and after the Colonel's appointment? Are we to examine every soldier put on orders for CO's punishment to see if it was genuine or exemplary? Obviously not. So it comes down to a matter of opinion.
I shall advise the court on that in due course.
Tell me, Colonel, what was the result of my client's conduct?
My orders were not carried out.
Was good order maintained at his company?
Yes.
Was discipline good?
Too good.
I'll refrain from comment upon that answer. You gentlemen are much better versed in the implications of that than I am. So, good order and military discipline were not prejudiced?
Yes, they were.
Please tell the court how.
It soon became obvious to the men that there was a disagreement between me and one of my company commanders. If allowed to go unchecked, this would have resulted in the collapse of morale, order, and discipline.
Colonel, I've heard of an incident only today where one of your soldiers nearly killed men on the ranges because he failed to obey orders. Isn't this proof that Major Gardner had already begun to carry out your instructions? That discipline is slacking off?
It is proof only that no ship can have two masters without disastrous consequences.
Or that a captain who ignores the rules of navigation winds up on the rocks.
Now you are scoring debating points, Mr. Maine.
The Colonel chose the metaphor, sir.
Please confine yourself to questions to this witness.
What I suggest to you, Colonel, is that you gave impossible orders. Orders that couldn't be carried out by any conscientious officer.
That, Mr. Maine, is rubbish.
Oh. Have I touched a nerve? I didn't expect abuse from you.
These officers know what I'm talking about. No legal semantics will obscure from them the fact that Major Gardner was undermining my authority.
That, Colonel Brandt, is a straight appeal to prejudice. When you cannot convince by evidence or argument, call him names. And no English court, civil or military, will entertain that. We've spoken of your record, Colonel. But what of your future?
The Colonel is not on trial.
Sir, if the methods you advocate were seen to be failing under your command, your masters would not be pleased.
They will not fail if my officers obey my orders.
But if the truth of the matter is that they have failed, Major Gardner would make a very convenient scapegoat.
A scandalous suggestion, Mr. Maine.
And not a shred of evidence to support it.
Gentlemen, is it any more scandalous than to suggest that an officer with Major Gardner's record and dedication is leading a one-man campaign of insubordination? No, it is not. Both ideas are ridiculous, but you cannot look at the one without considering the other. And you cannot consider either without total disbelief.
I would like to remind my friend that he does get a chance to make a speech at the end.
I've spoken to the Colonel's staff. There'll be no court-martial for Pike. You'll be dealt with here.
I know it's not my place to say so, but...
No, staff. It isn't.
And finally, gentlemen, to civilians, this may look like an academic exercise, a war game. But when you vote, remember the stakes. A single verdict of guilty, and you won't have to bother about sentencing Major Gardner. His career will be dead.
Well, we've been through all the arguments. You know enough about soldiers to make up your minds whether extra drill, being in bed at 2300, Reveille, 0600, are ill treatment. But fourth charge, neglect to the prejudice, not easy. I'll now put each charge to the vote. The junior will vote first, and it's a simple majority. Charge number 1. Major Curtis?
Have you reached a finding?
Yes.
May I see it?
I'm going to announce it.
Of course. May I see it?
Major Gardner, I'm now going to read to you the finding of this court-martial. On the first charge in the charge sheet, we find you not guilty. On the second charge in the charge sheet, not guilty. On the third charge in the charge sheet, not guilty. On the fourth charge in the charge sheet, guilty. That last finding is subject to confirmation.
Do you think I've made my point, Roy?
Beautifully done, sir.
You're a cynical bastard. I ought to sack you tomorrow.
Really, sir?
I've spoken my mind because I want an honest opinion. From now on, do I get the cooperation of the officers of this regiment?
I don't know.
I thought Maine's speech in mitigation was very good. I agreed with every word. I hope they don't hit Michael too hard.
Major Gardner, the court sentences you to take seniority in the rank of major as if your appointment to that rank bore date today. And the court sentences you to be severely reprimanded.
What does that mean?
Loss of all seniority. He guarantees he'll never get his own command.
That sentence is subject to confirmation. This trial is now concluded.
Sit down, David. I'd like to think.
What are you up to now, David?
It's called Petition to the Confirming Officer.
Don't you ever give up?
Would you have wanted me if I did?
Why?
Why so quick? Shouldn't you have more time to consider the wording?
Tactics. This is a petition against finding.
Finding. Sentence, I could understand.
No, that comes later on appeal if this fails. There, Michael. Get that typed, sign it, and hand it to the adjutant. You're petitioning to quash the verdict of guilty on the grounds that the court was wrong in law on condonation. And I quoted the words used by the brigadier.
Was it wrong in law?
I think so, Henry. But what's more important is that the army hates the appeal court. Bad for discipline if the civilian courts overrule the military too often. So there's an element of caution whenever a controversial point of law arises. I want the General to get that petition the same day he gets the record of these proceedings.
Now, one thing worries me about Moss and his factory.
Only one?
If his margins are so thin that paying an economic rent will bankrupt him, then he's no right to be in business.
True.
But I haven't heard one word of criticism from you.
I can't run his business for him. And he has kept 90 men in work for 20 years.
I don't understand you, David. You're always preaching efficiency, profitability.
Henry, Moss has no talent for business, and no wise words from the vocabulary of our experience will give it to him. He has the right to continue, and with our help, if he can pay for it, until normal commercial pressures bankrupt him.
Now that you have returned to the battalion, it is my duty as your commanding officer to promulgate to you the results of your court-martial. Confirmation of the finding has been withheld, and I've been ordered to tell you that there will be no further proceedings. Congratulations, Major Gardner. With the help of a clever lawyer and a technicality, you've been let off.
The technicality, Colonel, was that you were too easygoing with me.
I shan't make that mistake again.
I hope not, Colonel. I really do.
Fall out, Major.
That means you've won. The factory stays.
I can't thank you enough.
No need. I always enjoy a victory over City Hall.
I've recommended you to a friend of mine. He's been done for speeding over at Rotherham. I told him you were just the man.
Well, he evidently didn't think very much of my performance.
I tell you what, Henry, you do it, and we share a bus ride to the fish and chip shop on the fee.
I can detect drinking glasses 5 miles off.
How are you, Sefton?
Champagne doesn't agree with me. Haven't you got any whiskey? You can put it on my bill. I never thought I'd hear myself say that in this office. You're a clever devil, David. What made you go in with Henry in the first place? I'd have given you a much bigger slice.
You're a liar, Sefton.
I know I am. What's that got to do with it?
That's why I chose Henry.
There you go.
Nobody asked why I chose David.
You didn't. Happy days. What'll happen about Brandt?
He'll be promoted, full colonel, head of his time again. Probably spend a couple of years as a military attaché somewhere before climbing on up the ladder.
Promotion for losing?
Well, he didn't really lose. And it's a bit difficult to do anything else with a lieutenant colonel.
What about Michael?
I think he'll pay the price of anybody who fights authority for a cause he believes in.
I agree. He'll go no further in the army.
Will they tell him? Will Michael resign?
I would.
Then he'll come back into the office. He'll have to do 2 years' articles and pass those damned exams. But then, by God, he'll give you a run for your money, David.
Unless he joins us. Happy days.
Well, what I want to know is what is proved by all this brouhaha.
Simple, Henry. Can't make war after 5 o'clock Friday.